most everybody that I know, the great majority of them are close to my age and have been educated pretty much along these lines of what I have just said, but a lot of them have forgot it. I notice when I talk about these things, some people didn't know it. And I think one of the things that people are the worst educated about of all is the First Amendment. People that cite it and say it does things that it doesn't do are all over the place. And they have never read it. And all you got to do to know it doesn't give rights to anybody is to read the First Amendment itself. But people, they don't do that. I don't know where they get the information, but when you tell them that, they're very surprised. I went to Palmer School, a Davidson County, Tennessee public school for the first 5 grades, and that was back in the days when the states and the counties and cities had total control of public education in their places. And there was no such thing as federal aid to education. That's another thing. Nowhere in the Constitution is the federal government given the authority to control local education. And the way they control it is by federal aid. And then they'll tell them what books they can read and things like that. And that has really changed since I went there. Then I went to school at Montgomery Bell Academy, which is Tennessee's oldest prep school, and they taught unrevised history then. And then I went to Virginia Military Institute, which is very good. They have a tremendous system to make people learn things in the shortest possible time, and they taught unrevised history. And at the University of North Carolina, where I went in the Navy officer training for a year and a half, they weren't quite as conservative as MBA and BMI, but they were far more conservative than schools are today. And then I went to Columbia Midshipman School in the Navy, and after I got out of the Navy, I went to Vanderbilt and took 1 year of undergraduate majoring in history, and even Vanderbilt in those days taught unrevised history. I don't remember when it started changing, but I remember reading George Orwell's book, 1984. Seems to me I read it about 1960 or something like that. And he was predicting what was going to happen, and that the socialist liberals would be taken over. And I think they started taking over long before 1984. And he even predicted they would have history revisionists control what is taught, which I think happens now. I mean, people just don't read the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. I think they should be required reading in every school, in every grade, from the first grade when children learn how to read until they get through college and law school. They ought to read. I think one of the reasons that the education system and government functions have changed is that we have too many incumbent politicians. And nowadays, people in both political parties get elected, and their main motive, now most of them love the power they have being congressmen and senators, and they like to get more power and to do things that help incumbents get reelected. So we have a government of the incumbents, by the incumbents, and for the incumbents now. and they vote for laws that help incumbents because they want to be one forever. And they love to have long political careers. And anybody that has a long political career in U.S. Congress or the U.S. Senate ends up very wealthy, unless they gamble their money away or something. And the only way to correct that, as I see it, is to have term limits. Amend the Constitution to provide term limits. Then every legislator, when a law comes up, will vote for what helps working people, because he's going to be one the next time, after his term is out. But the only way you can get it amended is to get the incumbents to propose a constitutional amendment. And that's practically impossible.